Let's go back to 42 years ago when the conversation around what the Lagos state government at the time called the Metro Line project began, but now it seems to have come to a head. Our correspondent Darido, who is right there on the field and at the location of where the launch, the official commencement of the Lagos Blue Rail Line will kick off from today. Well, Dari, if you can hear me, what's the update? Can you give us a quick background? You know, how far so far? What are we looking forward to today, particularly about this Lagos Rail Mass Transit Program?
I can hear you clearly, and I can tell you that the day is here. Any moment from now, the governor of Lagos State will be here to take this particular ride. You can see the train is set, or the trains are on the track, ready. This is the exact station where the then president, Muhammadu Buhari, was. He launched this particular project in January. And what we're expecting today is that the governor will take this inaugural ride from the Marina station to Mile 2. We don't know how far, we don't know how long that would take us, but it's a 13-kilometer ride. Let me give you a bit of a background, just like you have asked. Downstairs, there's a whole lot of activities, drumming, dancing, a lot of officials waiting for the governor to come. And when he comes, of course, they've spoken a lot about the processes of getting on board this particular train. When you're going to come in as a commercial passenger, there are processes. You get the carry card. You use the carry card. Once you're done with that, you gain access into this particular platform we are at this moment, and you'll be able to take this train. One key part of this entire project is the fact that this train will run on electricity. And there are two questions, especially the key one is about safety. And that's what we're going to talk about quickly right now. If you see, normally most of the trains, especially the one we're having at the moment from Lagos to Ibadan, which is the federal project, runs on what they call the DMU, but this is a different one. It's going to run on electricity, and the tracks you're seeing at the moment, that is why you have an extra rail. It uses a third rail, and that is where the train will generate its power from where we move. But I need to say this. Clearly, the Lamata boss mentioned that this particular ride and subsequent ride in the coming weeks will be on locomotive, not on electricity just yet. What you are seeing at the moment is the completion of the first phase, which is the 13 kilometers. Once they are done, they said, once they are done with the 27 kilometers, with all the infrastructure, with all the independent grid that will supply this, then the train will be able to run with full capacity, which is expected to convey about 500,000 people daily, and will be able to run on electricity.
Well, you've started us out, Dari, on a very aspirational note. It will run on electricity. And you raised a very vital concern of safety. How about security? Because the sustainability of this project is also something that people should talk about. I mean, if anything happens to the electricity infrastructure, most certainly it's worrisome, don't you think?
The Lagos State government, in some of the information or the communication they've been putting out in the past couple of days, they've mentioned the fact that they would have security in place, ununiformed men, and they would use the Lagos State Neighborhood Watch men. They will be on ground at every station. Aside that, one key part, the safety part, is that they've cut it off. There's a fence around the facility, which is, of course, you and I know, 700 votes, 750 votes. It's a high voltage, and there's been a lot of advocacy going out there to warn people against crossing the tracks. They said there will be 300 cameras across the facilities, the terminals, the train stations, the tracks, just to make sure that they monitor everything. Then the track, they said there will be 30 cameras on the tracks, just to make sure that they monitor activities, vandals and all sorts. even with the construction of the facility that we've seen, there's been some obstruction, there's been some destruction in the past, and they're trying to guide against this. It's not only the fact that vandals can create something dangerous for the public, they can also harm themselves going close to this track. It's a different ball game. It's different. It's the first of its kind in Nigeria. Lagos, we haven't seen anything like this before, and that's because of the fact that the rail tracks will be on high voltage, and they've been trying to send out communication to the public just to make sure that they are fully aware of the danger. Although it remains to be seen if all this information or the communication the Lagos State government has been putting out are enough to at least guide the public against all the danger they've been warning against. Ayo.
Yeah, most certainly something concerning, I mean, particularly given the information that you're also confirming to us now. I'm also very excited about what you mentioned when you talked about the cowrie cards, or is it cowrie coin? I don't know which one it is, particularly because the national rail system, people still have to use cash only to board wherever you go. But now you're saying it is purely electronic. Exactly how is that happening? No cash transactions, just cowrie cards? Help educate us further.
Okay, I'm going to start by explaining how much this would cost. If you're trying to take a full-length ride of this train, say from Marina to Mile 2, it's going to cost you 750 naira. Then the Lagos State, with the palliative in place, they've slashed the price by 50%. So you're paying around 375 naira. So what you would need to do is you obtain a card. You can load the card. It's just like your credit card. You can load it, have money ready in your card. Anytime you are ready to take a ride, you go to the train station. That is your access card. Once you have your card loaded, once you have money on it, you're able to take the ride from any spot, and that is how it's going to work. As we're coming in, we got a lot of the salesperson downstairs trying to sell the card to us, and that's the process. Do you want to buy a card? And they were asking if we're going to buy the card to have access to this. But you and I know that this is a special day. They're expecting the governor to come around, and a lot of people will take a ride with the governor. So I assume that today will be a different day. There will be a lot of access. Many journalists, many officials of the state and invited guests would have that unhindered access. They won't have to get the carry card. But from tomorrow or any other time you're trying to take this ride, this 13-kilometer ride, you would need the carry card, which will grant you access. You won't even get to this point that I'm standing at the moment if you don't have that card, Ayo.
Well, it's very exciting to hear, Dare. I mean, most certainly it's something every Lagosian should look forward to. As unbelievable as it sounds, it is finally happening 42 years after it was initiated. At what time exactly is this supposed, this commissioning supposed to happen? We're expecting the governor anytime soon?
The time stated was 9 a.m. We're expecting the governor. Of course, downstairs, we will be able to show that in our subsequent crossings. A lot of officials are already there waiting for the governor. And once the governor comes, we expect him to come to this particular point. And if you can see the train in the background, that is the train right there. A lot of officials are already also on standby. The process is taking this ride before, of course, during the inspection tour, there was a facility launch, and there was eventually the official launch of this project, at least the phase one from Marina to Mile 2. So once the governor comes with all his officials and everyone, we would expect that it will come straight to this particular platform, get on board, and we'll go on that ride. Of course, we'll be bringing you all the updates. I also have my colleague at Mile 2, who is also on standby. Eventually, would also give you all the updates, what's happening there with this particular launch, Ayo.
Thank you so much, Dare. We'll most certainly keep everyone informed about this. It is first of its type in Nigeria, and it has finally happened. Thank you so much, Dare, for a wonderful reporting there.